All right. We are live with Amir and Will of Citizens of Baskerville. What's going on, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. So Amir and Will are the two guys from Citizens of Baskerville. One from San Diego, one from Santa Barbara. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I live in...
And now Amir is, I'm guessing, originally from Iran?
Yeah, I was born there in 1979.
Okay. And you're kind of like the lyricist where Will is the guitarist?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it's broken down, but we really feed off each other really well.
Okay. So if you guys are pretty far apart like that, how did you guys meet up?
We have a mutual friend.
Oh. Okay.
And I used to live in Santa Barbara, and when I had moved down here, I would go back and I'd hang out with the guy, and he just kind of introduced us.
Oh, okay. So when you play shows, are you playing mostly in the San Diego area or in the Santa Barbara area?
We just recently did a show in Santa Barbara, so we're trying to do the whole pretty much Santa Barbara to San Diego kind of area. We don't want to pick one spot and just choose it. The more options we have, the better.
Yeah. Is it hard to play? I'm not really familiar with Santa Barbara. How far away is that from San Diego?
200 miles.
Oh, okay. So that's got to make it hard to actually play some live shows then, together.
It's a little tricky logistically, definitely. It kind of depends on the venue and whatnot, whether we have to set up our own PA or, but it's doable. But got to get it done.
Right. So how do you guys do it with just the two of you? I mean, like, do you hire musicians or do you have like a backing track or something like that?
Yeah, we rely a lot on technology. It was kind of a discussion early on because we relied so much on recording how we would possibly be able to pull together a live show. So definitely took some cues from. I'm a big Nine Inch Nails fan, and he does a lot of digital stuff with his shows. So it's basically just myself on guitar, Amir on vocals, and we let the computer do everything else, essentially. So yeah, that's kind of the short answer to it. Just using the laptop with all the backing tracks.
Okay. And I see you also have a big following in the Middle East. We have a lot of fans in the chat room, including Hadi, who was nice enough to send us one of your older tracks. And I see that it's kind of like a lot of a political aspect, similar to Rage Against the Machine, only like kind of based towards the problems going on in Iran.
Because that's where I'm from, so I have family members and friends still over there, so they still tune in and stuff. And that we did a song because we did a lot of stuff just like kind of casually. But in 2009, we did a song, and at that point we're like, all right, well, this is getting a lot of good responses and feedback, so might as well keep it going. And that's where it started, and that's kind of where it grew for me personally. It's just the origins of where I'm from, and we kind of grew from everything from there. To we have a song about Iraq, we have a song about how we like to see the world, and so my political view is kind of how I'd like to see the world and the way I see it currently.
Okay. How did you end up in America?
After the revolution, the Iranian Revolution, my dad actually got his degree from the States. He got it from Chico State. And he said, well, the country is just going to go to crap with all the Ayatollahs running around. So he decided to move our family here. And I was actually an illegal alien growing up in Southern California in the 90s, which, led to a lot of, animosity towards things that people didn't know. Like, oh, illegal aliens, they're causing all this trouble. Where, in school, I was still doing really well compared to everybody else, and nobody would realize that I'm an illegal alien, but I almost didn't go to college because of all this. So that's kind of how also led to me being very political, because I was stuck in a place where people didn't really understand much about.
Right. Okay. So the name Citizens of Baskerville is based on Howard Baskerville, who I had no idea who he was until I was reading your bio, so then I looked him up on Wikipedia just to see a little bit about him. So can you kind of explain the name Citizens of Baskerville and this guy Howard and kind of his story a little bit?
Sure, I guess I'll take this one. He was born in Nebraska, went to Princeton, And then he decided to go to, well, at the time it was called Persia, but Iran, in the turn of the 1900s. And he fought alongside Iranians and for their right for a constitution versus just a pure monarchy. And he actually ended up being killed in battle because he had training in the U.S. They made him like a high-ranking officer in this militia. Well, he was actually quoted as saying, you know, the only difference between me and these people is the place of our birth, and that's not a big difference. And not quoted exactly, but something along those lines. And for us, it's kind of like that's how we like to see the world. It doesn't matter where you are, where you're born, or, you know, who you are. We're all the same. We're all humans. So there's no really need to like separate ourselves so much in what we do. And when we were thinking of an idea for the band, I was like, well, why don't we just make it kind of like not something so tangible, but something more abstract. We can't really get a handle of it, and you kind of have to think about what it actually means.
Yeah.
For people of the same thought and process, I guess.
Yeah, the Howard Baskerville is definitely an interesting story. I like that you guys kind of pulled him out because I never would have heard of him before. I mean, especially back in the day, early 1900s, for a guy who graduated Princeton to head over to Iran and be high up in the militia over there is pretty insane. So that's very cool. So I definitely have to ask you this: how did you? Because Citizens of Baskerville are playing September 10th at the Krik Fest show in Homeville, PA, and we're going to be broadcasting live from that show. And so I got to ask you how the hell you're playing a show in PA.
You know, it just goes to show you just how small this world really is. I have one of the guitarists for Sons of Krypton, he used to be my roommate. And, you know, when we started up the band, it was about the time he was actually my roommate, and, you know, we'd been going back and forth about, you know, music and our influences and all this stuff. And he's like, hey, if we ever have a festival out here, are you going to come? I said, kind of like, okay, I'll do it if you actually have one and invite us. And then, you know, a year and a half later, he's like, all right, we're going to get you out here. We're going to have you play. I'm like, okay, why not, you know?
Nice. That's pretty cool. So now all these songs that we have that we've been playing, we debuted yesterday, and we played a couple of them today. We'll probably close out the show with another one. Are these all released as singles, or do you have an album?
I'd say, as of now, they're probably more singles than anything else. We're still kind of working towards the goal of having a completed album. We're closer than we were, definitely. But yeah, it's still sort of kind of more of a collection of singles. I mean, they're definitely unified in terms of the message and sort of what they're promoting and whatnot. I guess it's more quantity than anything else. We just need a few more tracks that are in the works, definitely, but not quite there yet.
Okay, you guys doing it yourself?
Yep, as of now.
Nice. All right. Well, what's the best place for people to find your music online?
Yeah,
I think the best place, the website.
Citizensofbaskerville.com.
Yeah.
Everything that we have will always be updated right there, whether it's our music videos are up there or our music's up there, our bios, what we're playing, what we're doing. And we do have it on Facebook, and we're trying to promote that as well, but easy is just citizensofbaskerville.com. Click on that, and you're there.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, you guys should come out to Krik Fest September 10th. Citizens of Baskerville will be there. Sons of Krypton will be there. Rufus J. Fisk, who was in studio yesterday, they're going to be playing as well, along with like 7 or 8 others who will be in and out of the studio like over the next week or so. So we're trying to talk to all these bands and find out a little bit about them before we actually see them on September 10th. So guys, thanks for checking out the show and sending us your music, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys live at Krik Fest.
Yep. Great. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Take it easy.